Today, society is much different than it was, say, 20 years ago. I mean, we are living in a completely different time. And I'm sure many of you sense that as well, that things are changing. Like, you can feel it in the air. Time even seems to be different now. And maybe that's just because I'm getting older and it seems like it's speeding up, but I just feel like even time has changed in some way. And, you know, we're living in a different age. This is definitely a different age. And I think that that's a big part of it. And that age is the technological age. And I feel like due to this, because it is contrary to our nature, it's contrary to our nature. I feel like we live with anxiety and different mental health type conditions solely because of where we're at in time and where we're living now. And don't get me wrong, I recognize that every generation of time has had their own hardships to overcome and their own problems in society and culture and all of these things. I get it, I understand it, but I just think that there's something unique about this time that we're in. It's a time like never before, and so we don't really have anything to refer to in terms of what this looks like long term, being wrapped up in a society such as this. But what I do know is that mental health issues are on the rise, for sure. And I'm going to read some statistics to you here that I think are astonishing. And going into a new year, many people like to set goals, New Year's resolutions, whatever you want to call them, and they want to try and make changes in their life. But, for a lot of people, there's a mental block there that just has to be overcome before you could ever institute these major changes that you feel you need in your life, and so I think the first step is just being honest with these type of statistics and recognizing that something's changed here, and we're all dealing with it. It's obvious when you see these statistics that we are all dealing with this. And so I just wanted to read this to you. Mental health statistics show high prevalence, with nearly 1 in 5 U.S. adults experiencing mental illness yearly, almost half facing it in their lifetime. With anxiety disorders and depression being most common, youth also significantly affected, with 1 in 7 experiencing a disorder annually, and half of all mental illnesses starting by age 14. Suicide is a leading cause of death for young people, though recent data shows a slight improvements in youth mental health indicators. Now, this is what I mean about this being directly correlated to the times that we find ourselves in, because although, suicide isn't something new, I think that these numbers that we're seeing are a direct reflection of the world that they're growing up in today, because it definitely looks much different than the world that I grew up in, or my parents, or their parents, or all the generations before us. These kids are growing up differently than what we were, for sure. There's no question about it. And it's a very difficult thing to navigate as a parent raising children today. But this is the reality. Just to round things off for ease of conversation, we're talking about half of the people are affected by some form of mental health condition. And do you think maybe that could be why we see what we see in society and culture today? I do. I think there's a direct correlation to that. And I think until we face this reality and realize the root of what's causing much of this, if we're not going to be honest about that with ourselves, then I don't know. I don't know what to do to help improve it, because we first have to understand it and understand where it's coming from. Annually, and this is in adults, annually around 23% of U.S. adults experience mental health illness each year, with higher rates in females and young adults. Lifetime, about 46 of Americans will meet criteria for a diagnosable mental health illness in their lifetime. Common disorders in this past year: anxiety disorder, 19.1%, and major depression, 8.3%, are most common. Youth and adolescents, annually, over 1 in 7 U.S. youth aged 6 to 17 have a mental health disorder yearly. Youth crisis, 40% of high school students reported persistent sadness or hopelessness in 2023, and 20% seriously considered suicide. That is terrifying as a parent. Terrifying. So I think it's about time that we get honest with this stuff. And we need to stop pushing it off like it's nothing, because it's obviously something. It's obviously something. And when we're talking about our children here, we have to try and do something to change this, because this is not good. These statistics are incredible. And it should be telling us that there is something very, very wrong in society and in this age that we find ourselves in today. And, you know, we could talk about this topic for a very long time, but I know attention spans have been affected by all this, and a lot of people tune out. So I just wanted to throw those statistics out there just in case you weren't aware of the issue. I find it hard to believe that people aren't aware of this, especially when half the people are going through it themselves and can relate, you know. But I think this is absolutely a topic that needs to be discussed more, that we should be talking about more as parents, as adults, with our children, you know, all of it. And in bringing this up, I also wanted to just come clean, you know, about my own struggles with this, because I have had my own mental health issues in the past and still currently today, you know. And I honestly think we all do in one way or another. That's diagnosed. Okay. That's diagnosed. That's where those statistics come from. How many is undiagnosed, you know? I don't even think I am part of that, possibly because I have tried different medications, and so maybe I am in that data pool, but, you know, many people aren't. And so that number's much greater, obviously. So I think it's safe to say a very, very large percentage of the populace is going through one form or another of a mental health condition. And so for me, you know, I never really struggled with it too bad. I had, you know, my upbringing was a little bit rocky at times, and I struggled with, you know, a lot of things in that. You know, I've made a lot of decisions in my life that were bad, that led me, you know, into different areas that weren't helpful in this matter. And, you know, life experiences, things that happen, you know, affect our psyche, and you know, but I don't really recall being affected too much by anything like this that I can really pinpoint until I was 40. When I hit 40, something definitely changed. And I think that you can even see a relevance here around that age and a consistency amongst men at that age where something changes. And, you've always heard of, midlife crisis in men, and, menopause is more formal, I think, in women, but for men it's this cliche thing about, midlife crisis. But I think, at that age, things do begin to change. And I think a lot of it has to do biologically, with our chemistry. And, testosterone levels are dropping, and just things are changing because you're aging. And so, a lot of this could have to do with just different imbalances chemically, is what I think personally. Because it was like, I hit 40 and things started to happen to me that I had never experienced before. And one of those things was panic attacks. And I mean full on panic attack. Like, to where trying to describe it is very difficult, but it feels like when you are in that moment, the walls are closing in on you. And you can feel that your head is like a lit match, and it's just hot, and it's like everything's closing in on you, and it's like whoa, 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 and it comes in, and it's just like, it's even your vision channels in, and everything. It's almost like a system shutdown, a hard shutdown on a computer. You hit that button, and it's like, whoa, there's still things operating here. You sure you want to shut down right away? Yeah, boop, hit the button. Bang, everything's done. And that's what it feels like. It just feels like it's closing in on you. And when that happens, it is terrifying, because the only way I can describe it is it feels like you are going through a stroke and a heart attack at the same time. Your heart is pounding like it's going to come out of your chest, yet everything is slowing down like you feel like you're about to die. I mean, it's a scary, scary thing to have happen. And I have never experienced it in my life until I was around that age. And it happened to be in a situation where I'm in a group of people, and you get ready to talk, like, hey, Brad, what do you think? Oh, and you go to speak, and it's just like, it just shuts right down. I mean, I've had it happen. I think I can probably count on both hands how many times it's happened to me. But when it happens, it is very, very dramatic. And then you're left with, like, once, like, your system reboots and you realize, like, what happened, you're like left with the situation that you're in, the reality that you're in, where everybody's like looking at you like, what the hell just happened? You know what I mean? And you're trying to like recover from it and act like nothing happened. So it's a very uncomfortable situation to go through, and I still to this day have not gotten an answer from a doctor or anybody on, that. I mean, that's what it is. It's a panic attack. Here, try this medicine. I mean, but what's causing it? What's causing it? That's what I want to know. I'm not trying to treat symptoms. I'm trying to fix the frickin' problem. You know what I'm saying? And I never did get a clear answer on what that was. And yeah, I mean, not a good feeling. And if you've experienced it, you know what I'm talking about. But aside from that, I am somewhat, since then, an anxious person too, because I have lost a lot, and if you know my story, I've lost a lot here recently, and I have a lot of anxiety because of that, and I know how much more I have to lose, and so I'm constantly worried and stressed and anxious about it, and so yeah, I can relate. It's a very real thing, and it's a struggle that I still struggle with today. But I think being open about it and talking about it is the first step to recovery, and also helping other people that could be experiencing similar things, because I'm sure that I'm not the only one that this has happened to. And so, yeah, I just feel that these are things that need to be discussed. I mean, we're almost at the 15-minute mark. I don't want to have you here too much longer. Like I said, I could talk about this forever. The fact of the matter is, this is a very important topic, that I feel needs to be discussed. And if we are not going to do it amongst ourselves, it's never going to happen, folks. And so to me, this is the first step. It's opening up about these things, trying to, kickstart a conversation about it and to build community around it. And that community can support and help and offer security and, other things that are necessary to help people, with these type of things, because there's obviously a problem there. And in my own case, medication isn't the fix. It's not the fix. So, yeah, we're going to stop there. That's all I got for this one. If you too have had these type of conditions or anything that you'd like to discuss that's relatable to this topic, please leave it in the comments below. I promise to get back to you on it. It's very much something that I would love to talk about more on this channel. And so hit me up. This is Casper's Corner. I'm Brad Casper, and we are out.